This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What's up, body warriors? Welcome back to another video and another follow on. This is part number 2 of the Big 5 Strengthen Then Lengthen series, and that's going to be focused on the front split. If you want to find out more about the details, the theory, then check out this video. But today is for people who can already perform a palms to floor pike position. We need some good hamstring flexibility, and then we're going to work on the hip flexors to work towards front split. This is a sort of routine that works great as an add-on to the end of a workout. For it, you're not really going to need any equipment other than some time and space, but it is useful to have a wall to perform one of the stretches in this routine. Other than that, let's jump straight into this. Right, so we're going to kick things off with a short warm-up before we work in towards that strengthen and lengthen combination. We're going to start with lunges again. So we're going to do right foot forward, a good length of a stride stance, and then we're going to work on lunging diagonally forwards and down. So we're pushing this knee over the toe, good stretch over the hip flexor, and also into this front hip. We're just going to do 5 of these per side, slow, easy. This shouldn't be too intense. We're working on getting lower and just warming up the muscles in the lower body. But as I mentioned, this routine is supposed to be an add-on to the end of a training session. So it's the sort of thing that we should already be warm before we jump into it. But again, 5 reps here. It's the last rep, pausing in that bottom position, get a bit of a stretch, open the hips, and move to the left-hand side. So left leg forward, same thing, stride stance, diagonally forward and down, open that rear leg, and back up. We can rest that back leg as well on the floor if we need to end up in a nice lunge. We want to feel hip flexor stretch and groin stretch in this front leg. So 4. And then the last rep here is number 5. Perfect. We're going to stay low to the ground. We're going to move into a hip swivel position, which is a good old favorite on this channel. So seated, hands behind, feet outside of shoulder width. I'm going to drop both knees towards the left-hand side, keeping the chest facing forward, so into external and internal rotation. Swivel back, swivel through, and that is 1 hip swivel. We're going to do 5 in total. Again, there's no rush, slow, steady. Main thing is try to keep the torso straight, and we're going to warm up and let the hips and the lower back start moving. That's number 3 here. Number 4. And we're just going to do that last one. Number 5. And we're going to stay now on the ground. We're going to look a little bit just at warming up the hamstrings with a sciatic nerve floss. We're not going to do anything too specific on the hamstrings today, but this will just help open it up and remove it as a restriction for our front split training. So hands behind the knee. We're going to flex the foot, extend the leg straight, point the toes, bend back down. We're just going to do 10 of these per side. Use the quad here. Should feel a stretch on the hamstring at the top, especially if that foot flexed. Point the toe and come back. So aim is to here, just to get that leg straight and just floss that sciatic nerve. So 10 in total. 7. Remember, flex the foot, extend the leg, point the toe, bend the knee. A couple more. Beautiful. And we're just going to swap sides, perform on the left leg as well. Should just help the hamstring loosen up a bit, feel a little bit looser. So we're going to focus predominantly though on the hip flexor and opening up that hip extension. As for most people, that is going to be the limitation, especially earlier on in your front split training. Most of your training is going to be about opening up that hip flexor and continuing your hamstring flexibility. So remember, 10 per side. Flex the foot, point the toe, bend the knee. Flex, extend, point, bend. Couple more here. So last one. And then the last part of our warm-up, we're going to perform a quad stretch, because the quads are a common restrictor for hip flexibility. So this is when you're going to need a wall or something that's going to just prop this foot up behind us Coach Molly is obviously going to help as well. We're going to have the foot and the heel nice and close to your glutes if you can do. So we're going to adjust the intensity here. The closer you have the knee to the wall or your object that's supporting the ankle, the more intense this one is going to be. And then we're just going to focus here on feeling that stretch over the front of the hip, over the hip flexor. Use the glute, and we're just going to hold here for 45 seconds per side. Trying to get as close as you can, trying to get your butt towards your heel, and also keeping slight posterior tilt, so trying to keep the glute engaged slightly. Again, this should be a mild stretch, but it's just going to help loosen the quad so that it doesn't restrict our hip flexor focused flexibility work. Another 15 seconds here, just on the right side first. If you need to, you might need to place a cushion underneath the knee just to make it comfortable. 3, 2, 1. I'm just going to come down and swap sides. So left knee now. Foot nice and supported. I'm just going to place my hand underneath, lean it back into it, trying to get that hip towards your foot. Remember to tuck the hips. Looking for a pretty, moderate to intense stretch here. Just remember to keep breathing during this 45 to 60 seconds. That's it, another 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Beautiful. So we're going to start off, we're going to do our strengthen, then lengthen pairing. So for the strengthening side of things, we're going to look at strengthening the hamstrings and the glutes in extension. And what this is going to look like is we're going to perform a forward lunge position. And then from here, you're going to squeeze your glute. So keep the leg in extension, and then you're going to try and lift the leg up. So essentially what we're going to work on. This is going to basically force us to contract the hamstring and the glute in this extended position. We're going to do 5 reps of 5 seconds, trying to lift as hard as you can. But what we want to do here is, as we lift, we don't want to come out of the stretch. We want to make sure that we're keeping the glute and the hip push forward. Easiest position is going to be hands down, and then the more we stand up, the harder this is going to become. So 5 reps, 5-second maximum effort. When you're ready, we're going to lift that ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. When we relax, try to feel this hip pull forward as well. Remember, the sequence is glute first, squeeze the glute, then lift the heel, keep that glute engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. 3 more. Squeeze the glute, lift the foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You might get a bit of hamstring cramping here. Just try to pause, shake it off, and continue where you left off. 2 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last one, glute first, hamstring. Pull the knee up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Right leg goes back, left leg comes forward. Same thing again. So remember, hip comes down, glute gets squeezed first, then lift the heel up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get a little bit of cramp. As I said, if you get cramp, try to shake it off. Another rep here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Short rest. Cramp in this position is going to be more down towards not knowing how to contract as opposed to anything else. So we need to learn how to contract better by doing more. 3 more reps. Squeeze the glute, lift the leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Alright, squeeze the glute, keep the hip down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then last one. 5 seconds, maximum effort. Get that heel as close as you can to your glute. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We're going to take a short rest, just 10 seconds or so, and then we're going to perform what I would regard as the bread and butter for front split training, which is the long lunge. So, as the name suggests, we're going to be in a lunge position, and we're going to go as long as we can with our feet. Eventually, as we go further, we get into a front split. But for the moment, we're just going to focus on long, and then we're going to do 3 to 4 reps of 10 seconds effort. What I want you to think about doing is keeping the hips low. As you lift, use the quadness back leg to try and lift the knee up and straighten the leg. That's going to give you the most stretch here. And also try to reduce how much you forward bend. Try to really sit upright and lean into this hip and feel the stretch over the hip flexor. So, let's start a little bit narrower. First 10-second hold. Straighten the quad. Lift up. Chest upright. Hips down. Feel the stretch over the hip flexor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. I'm just going to let my foot go back a little bit. So I'm going to go a bit longer with my lunge. And we'll do the same again, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing. Can I get that foot going back a little bit more? Lift again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. I'm going to swap sides now. So left leg forward, right leg back. Again, exactly the same thing. Start on a little bit of a shorter lunge. Focus on using that quad to straighten the back leg. And lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try not to get blown over in the wind. Wiggle the foot back. 2 more. So 10, 9, 8. Lean back into it. Use the core, keep that leg straight. 2, 1. Wiggle the foot back further. And last one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We're going to take a short rest because that one does get a little bit more challenging. Rest up however you want for 30 seconds, and I'm going to perform exactly the same thing again. The crushes, then the lunges. With the long lunge, try to note roughly, maybe if you're on a yoga mat, I know my front foot's here, my back foot's here. Try to go further than you did last time is generally the goal. But we can test our front split at the end and see how flexible we're actually feeling. So 5 more seconds and we'll jump back into that first exercise for the second set. Starting with the right leg first. Oh, left leg first, right leg forward. And this time, if you want to make it a little bit harder, instead of having hands flat on the ground, we're going to come up a little bit, maybe have hands supported on the knee. But again, make sure you keep this hip nice and extended. 5 reps, 5 seconds. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax down. Remember, glute first, then lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 more. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These should be really maximum effort, trying to lift that heel as close as you can to your glute. Last one, glute first, lift the heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swap sides, right leg goes back, left leg goes forward. Again, come a little bit more upright if you can do. And then we're going to do a lift. Lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, keeping this hip pulled forward as well. Remember, don't let the hips pike at all. Glute squeeze, lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. You need 3 more reps. I know this seems repetitive, but we're working where we need to work. Focus is the main thing here. Lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 2. Glute squeeze, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then last one here. Glute squeeze, lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's intense. This is really trying to get the posterior chain to do as much as possible and extending through that full, opening the anterior, so not just hip flexors, quads, probably a little bit of abdominals, a little bit of that spinal flexibility as well. Let's jump into the long lunge. Right leg forward, left leg back. This is the final set. So I want you to go longer than you did the first time. And we'll do 3 of those 10 seconds again, trying to keep the hips as pinned down as possible, but making sure this rear leg is as straight as possible. So, lift 10 seconds. Keep the hips low. Try to move that knee away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wiggle that foot back. Lift again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wiggle it back a little bit more for that last rep now. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Oh. I'm going to swap sides. Last one. Hips should be feeling a little bit looser. 10 seconds. Coach Molly's here to help with the last set. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Oh, I think I did 5 seconds for that one. I have to do an extra rep. Let's lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wiggle that foot backwards if you can do. Lift again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This wind is making things challenging. One last rep because I cheated a little bit on the first one. Last final seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And that is the main 2. We've got the strengthening, then the lengthening. This would be now where you might want to test and see how your front split feels. For this, I like to use a yoga block. Stand up on the front leg. We can slide down. Okay, can I comfortably get into upright? Maybe I can get down to that. Maybe I can go a little bit further, etc., etc. And we'll see how comfortable we can make that front split feel. Remember, the main thing here is going to be measuring your progress, much like you will do your strength training, to see those improvements week by week. So there's a quick, dirty, simple routine for developing your front split, unlike today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is a clean, beautiful, and powerful website hosting platform. In fact, it's the website hosting platform that I've used for my business for the past 6 years. It helps you generate content through a members-only platform. This allows you to have a direct relationship with the audience using things like email campaigns, which is what I use for my monthly newsletter, The Archetype. There's a bunch of other features in Squarespace. If you want to start exploring that, you can go over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use this link to get 10% off a domain or website. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Other than that, have a strong one. Peace.
Other than that, happy stretching. Have a strong week. Peace.